right. Next up, we have knights. Knights are the big robots of the Imperium. So if you take a look.
Oh, that was the other box I was going to get.
Yes.
I really should have. It's more fun to build.
So
These are driving me nuts.
So the Imperial Knights are giant walking machines of death.
Humans or metal?
These are still humans. So
Are you kidding me?
They're piloted by humans.
Okay.
To give you a quote start. Let the power of your knight flow through your veins. Let the ghosts of your throne whisper wisdom into your mind. Let steel be your sinews and fire be your fists. Become your knight as it becomes you, and through symbiosis ascend. So shall you become, so shall you protect your people and slaughter your foes.
What's that movie? Godzilla. They had to, it's the Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim. This is Pacific Rim.
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of similar. Yes. They have to bind with their machine and they go there. So the knights themselves are leftover remnants of the dark age of technology. When humanity kind of first reached out to the stars, they went in generational ships with the standard template constructs. And they could make machines from everything, human knowledge, blah, 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 blah. To deal with hostile alien worlds and harvesting and mining from them, they would need big machines, and they created them in order to, at first, do that task. That's why a lot of them have that chainsaw sword, because they were foresting machines, essentially. Eventually, these hostile worlds had big monsters that they needed to protect from. So they started adding armaments to them. And these would stand vigil over these towns. And eventually, people would add heraldry to them. And they would be standing there and you would venerate them because you see this big machine and it is protecting you from all of the evils in the world. Mm-hmm. And over generations, you add some heraldry to it. The pilots have children. Those children become pilots and they become venerated. And eventually they become houses. And they end up being more powerful than other factions in this town. And eventually the world is just completely controlled by specific houses that are completely in control of these knights. And they end up having a very feudal, very medieval style to them. We are the lords of this world. We protect. It's why they're called knights, is because they have a chivalric code. They're chivalrous. You have them like a steed, essentially. They're like the horses. And they will walk, and you're going to do the babies?
Baby time!
Baby time!
All right, I'm done with these things.
So they are steeped in medieval tradition. They stride into battles on these steeds. Now, some of these houses have traditions that are a little bit on the absurd side because they are hoity-toity knights. Think of the lords from England that are I got my tea. I am Lord Chattingweather of blah, 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 blah.
That's how you think a lord talks.
Well, hoity-toity. 1 second.
They're hoity-toity. They are hoity-toity. Where are my lobotomized baby heads?
They end up having absurd names and honors attached to them. I am Lord Highweather of House Highweather, protector of such and such world, honor of the blade, wielder of the vanquisher, the lightbringer, the executioner, blah, 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 blah. They have names and titles forever that go on and on and on. Some of these houses have to read off the victories of their ancestors that could take 20 hours, and they have to do this every single day. They are just crazy knights and crazy lords that are they're just pompous. To pilot the machine, though, when a previous pilot has passed on or they have died in battle, a new pilot will actually go up and they will try and sit in the throne. But there is always because when you connect into the knight itself, you are psychically connecting to it, neurologically. So that way you feel the knight.
Pacific Rim.
Yeah. The problem is that these machines are tens of thousands of years old. And because you have been cyclically linked to it, a small remnant of your mind has actually been left behind in the night. So when a new pilot actually comes about and they sit in the throne, they are actually left in that night for 24 hours in the dark. And they have to bind with it and not go mad because you have tens of thousands of years of pilots.
Mm-hmm.
All of their small bits of their mind that have been left in the machine that are now in your own mind. Often pilots will die from this. The success rate is very, very low. But if you do succeed, you have gone from having to, follow all these traditions and go through all this pompous stuff to now being the big dog. I have the big machine. I could do whatever the hell I want.
Nice.
Yeah. They have different weapons that they use. So obviously they have a chainsaw sword that they use.
Can I just show you this?
Yeah.
Look at the baby's ass.
Oh, that's a good booty.
Like, look at it. Look at it. Look at it. I don't know if I can get this in view, but it is really cute. There's a baby's butt right there. Look at that tush. Look at that little tush.
May I go?
Not safe for work, guys.
So they have giant chainsaw swords. They have a gauntlet that is full of lightning, essentially. They will just pick people up and just deafen them with warhounds or like a war horn, essentially. They have very big guns like flamers and things like that. Some of the bigger knights actually have a harpoon that they will literally just harpoon their enemy and bring them towards them.
Dude.
And there is a few different combinations of these knights, but you also have the little mini knights, and these are lesser members of those. Yeah.
This lobotomized baby has a mechanical spine.
Yeah.
And essentially that mechanical spine is connecting their wings.
Yep.
This is more morbid than I thought. I feel kind of bad now.
Don't. Yeah, so you have those big knights, but you also have little mini knights called armigers. These are piloted typically by they're like squires to the knights, run by smaller minor houses that are associated with the major house. They will fight alongside, and sometimes they're directly connected to the main knight, so that way they can all work in unison. And it does put a pretty heavy burden on the mind of the pilot in order to do this. Yeah. There is the opposite to the Imperial Knights. There is the Chaos Knights. And these are ones that have fallen to chaos from one way or the other. Some of them at the very beginning, they fell at the same time as the other Space Marines. At the very beginning of that rebellion and the heresy, a psychic blast went out to all to the knights, and some of them were immediately driven mad.
So we talk about the people in the knights, or the people in the mech suits, right?
Yeah. Some were corrupted by themselves, who were corrupted. Others, the machine spirit, so the knight itself was corrupted, and the knight and the pilot himself couldn't get out. He was just left in there, slowly screaming as he was driven mad by his own knight. Others willingly went along.
Let me just confirm. So knight is different from pilot.
Yes.
Knight is the actual mechanical thing.
Yeah.
Pilot is the thing that... So if you have a chaos knight, can you have a chaos pilot? Or do they always come together?
They always come together.
Okay.
The chaos knights are obviously a little bit more metal. There is one... You have houses, but you also have free blades. So these are ones that have just kind of gone off and done their own thing, like a hedge knight or a Ronin samurai. They don't follow any particular house. On the chaos side, there is one that it only has melee weapons. And when there is enough blood on the battlefield of a specific area, it will literally rise up from the blood in the ground in order to then cause more carnage. Yeah? Maybe?
No.
This one has a skull.
This one has a skull. Oh my God. Check this one out. The other one was a lobotomized baby. This is just a skull.
Yep.
It's sickening. I hope it's not a baby.
Yeah, so some hosts went renegades, some are just like free blades that just do whatever they want and follow particular gods, but they do various different things.
And those are all the knights.
And those are the knights.
So if I was to get the Christmas box of the knights, there's only 3 of them because they're so strong? Is that the reason, or?
There is 5. So
5,
you get the one big knight and you get 4 of the little mini knights.
How big are the mini knights?
4.5 inches tall. About that
How big is a big knight?
A little bit bigger than that. So like 6 to 7.
The knights. It would have been easier to build. You did not see that? I did not draw blood.
Good.
We're good.
We're good. Yeah, that box, if you bought 2 of those boxes, you would have a complete knight army. Or a complete chaos knight army, because all it takes to make a chaos knight is just paint it like chaos.
So GW doesn't sell you a new box that says chaos?
They do have specific chaos ones, and recently they just released the Chaos Knights Codex, and that came with a new knight set that was called the Knight Abominant that is its own knight on the chaos side. They also released new armigers, so little mini knights that are specific to chaos as well. So you can do either one, but the Christmas box is just the Imperial Knights, so you don't get, but you can just add spiky bits essentially.
Okay. I now have the nuns with guns.
You now have the nuns with guns. Yeah.
All right.
On top of the knights, there are things called titans, and these are just bigger knights. These go all the way. If a knight is typically running about like 9 meters to 10 meters tall, titans are 20 to 50 to 60 meters tall. They are walking skyscrapers. Is
that what you were trying to buy on Forge World?
No.
No, but like, are those the ones sitting on
yes.
Forge World? Yeah, there we go.
Those you don't really typically run because the smallest one, called the Warhound Titan, is 2,000 points itself.
Good. So you mean I could have just gotten that and played the army?
You could have. And people jokingly do that at tournaments. They never win, but it's funny as hell when you go walk up to a table and you do deployment, they just drop a giant mech and say, I'm done deploying. They will lose because the game isn't built to play with that.
Yeah.
But they go up to like 5,500 points for one model. And the largest one is basically a cathedral.
So what's the point of it?
Big dick energy.
Yeah, I was going to say it. BDB!
That is basically all that the Titans are. There's some details in there. They're pretty cool, but we'll go to the next.
Okay, because I'm done this now, so people can watch me put it away.
We go for the next one.
All right. My Retributor squad is done.
Let me see if you can keep the... Oh, that's actually...
Oh, wait.
Yeah, bring them just to the edge of this.
All right, my Retributor squad is done. Bam. All right, let's pack the rest of this up. So I have a lot of extra electric pieces, eh?
Yeah, that's very typical.
I kind of cut that out. Now it's there.
That's fine. Just put it in the box.
Okay.
Or put it in the combat patrol box. I also have a lot of like spare bits. This is normal. It's called bits. You could just basically keep them around and use them for other projects. It's a normal part of the hobby.
All right, I guess I'm going to be this is actually a lot faster than I thought to build them.
Yeah, once you get a groove, it's pretty quick.
I mean, I'm listening to you rant. This is the best way you've found to have your wife sit next to you and listen to all the stuff that you...
Ouch.
I mean, you can't get me to sit still for too long. This is hard enough as it is. All right, what do we got next, Nick? I'm just going to open up another box here.
Yeah.